So you're thinking in your backyard and thinking, wouldn't a pond look really nice back here, but how would I go about that? A couple things you really need to think about. Number one, if you're going to place a pond in your backyard, you need to think about location. The last thing you want is to have a pond far away from where you're going to be sitting on your deck, because the beauty of a pond is the sound of the running water. Next thing you want to think about is size. Most people say I'm going to start really small, and I'll be honest, 2 to 3 years later you're going to say, why didn't I go bigger? Because you can't do as much with a small pond. Third thing you want to think about, are you going to do preformed or are you going to do liner? That's what makes the basics of your pond. You have a lot more opportunities with liner to do things like waterfalls and other things, but a preformed pond is just fine because you can decorate that and make it look good. Okay, now you've got the basics down. What are you thinking about next? Are you thinking about fish? If you are, absolutely have to have a pump. That's what moves the water to keep that water aerated all the time for fish. Also have to have a filter, because when you have fish waste. Fish waste makes algae. Got to have a filter to get rid of the algae. So filtration is very important, and when you're looking at products to put in your pond, most of your filtration and most of your pumps go by the number of gallons of water you have in your pond. So it's very important to check out your pump front where it says this is how many gallons it will push. Other things you need to think about, waterfalls. Are you going to have a waterfall? If you do, you need to have a bigger pump. All these are just basic things you need to do. Then if you're going to have a natural pond, which I highly recommend, you want to think about things like putting microblift in your pond. That's a natural bacteria. Keeps that pond working naturally without having to use chemicals. Last but not least, very important, don't forget plants. Plants are critical to your pond because they do a number of things. They provide shade for your fish. They also provide shelter for your fish so they can hide underneath so birds and other things don't get them. They also beautify your pond. So these are some of the things you need to think about when you're building a pond, and once you get it in the ground, sit back, put your feet up, listen to that water flowing, and just say, this is life.